Hello, welcome everyone to test 34 review video for thinking skills. So in these videos, we are going to go through 10 selected questions and I'm going to talk through the solutions and hopefully that can help you in your preparation for the thinking skills exam. Let's get started with the first one. This first question was a matching reasoning question, so we had to infer a bit of reasoning which most closely explains the change in the peppered moth population. So let's have a look at the actual paragraph and kind of highlight the main points here. So let's get out our highlighter. It was preyed upon by local birds. It's known to exist in two different colors, being black and white. There are more white moths in the peppered moth population before the Industrial Revolution because they're able to camouflage better on trees. After the Industrial Revolutions, they went mostly black because there was a lot of air pollution released by the factories built in the Industrial Revolution. So which of the statements most closely explains this reasoning for the change in population? Well, they're kind of inferring that because of this pollution and because of the increased amount of this black tar or air pollution, okay, these moths that were black were more likely to survive because they can camouflage into the trees or into the tar, okay, that is present then, which means that the birds won't be able to see them as much and the white moths would be eaten, so the black ones would survive. The one that summarizes this the best is option A. The pollution from the Industrial Revolution has caused the moth to change from white to black. So this explains it in a sense. You're not actually changing the color of the individual moths, okay? What's happening is the pollution has caused the majority of the moths to become black because the white ones would get eaten because the climate, the environment has changed. You can see that this really nicely links to the main bits that we highlighted, okay? The white to black links with the colors of the moths. The Industrial Revolution explains the cause, okay? So many linking bits here, and that's why A is the best answer. Next question. Use the following discussion to answer the question. So what are they disagreeing about? Well, if you look at some keywords, let's highlight them, that are both in John and Kim's statement. Children and chores. Children and chores. Okay. Another big word is responsibility. And responsibility is also here. So which solution includes all three of these key words? C. Okay. Chores. Or this one doesn't have children, but you can infer that. Okay. Chores and responsibility are the main topic at hand. Okay. That's why C is the best answer. John says that chores are a good way for children to learn responsibility as well as teaching them life skills. Whereas Kim's rebuttal, she says that the schools provide enough chances for the children to learn responsibility and you don't really need to learn them through chores. 3, we're ranking from lowest to highest. Okay, so for this one, I like to use letters. H for hearts, C for clovers, S for spades, D for diamond, okay? Heart is worth less than a clover but higher than spades, okay? Heart is worth less than a clover but higher than spades. Notice how I'm leaving some gaps because I don't know what would fit in between. A diamond is worth less than hearts but clover is worth more than spades. Okay, so clover is already worth more than spades in our order right now. We just don't know where the diamond goes. The diamond can slot here or here, okay, and still qualify as being less than the hearts or the H. So which one is it? You actually can't choose any of these because we don't know where the diamond goes. So D is the answer. Okay, it could be clovers, heart, diamond, spades, or clovers, heart, spades, diamonds. We don't know the answer. So D is the answer for this one. Okay, on to question 4. I was calculating a number sentence when I realized I had multiplied it by 3 and added 5 instead of dividing by 3 and subtracting 5. In order to get to the correct answer without starting over, I should now do what? So we first want to get back to the original and then do the correct one. So right now we had added 5 and multiplied by 3. So whatever our final one is, we want to minus 5 and then divide it by 3. Okay? From here, we're going to do the correct thing, which is divide by 3 and then subtract 5 again. So what actually is happening? We have to go in order, okay? We are minusing 5 first. Okay, we're going to bracket it. Divided by 3 is actually dividing it by 9. Okay, think about it, a third and a third. From here, we're going to minus 5 again. So the actual portion that we're answering is this. We're minusing 5 and then dividing by 9 and then minusing 5 to get to the real answer. That doesn't represent A, B, or C, so D is actually the correct one. Which of the following cubes can be made from the net below? The answer is D. You have to be very wary about the positioning of the letters, like the orientation. If you focus on this bit here, and Y was at the front, think about R folding onto the side. So if we had a cube, okay, Y is at the front. If R is folding to the side, it's going to look pretty similar, just slightly oblique, okay, slightly squished. And now B is going to lie flat on the top, okay, and it will look something like that. And that looks exactly like D. So that's why it's the answer. Okay, identifying an assumption. What is an underlying assumption of the passage? So remember what an assumption means, okay? It's something that is specifically stated in the passage, but they kind of want you to infer it. They kind of want you to realize that yourself, okay? Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. In this case, we know that over 50,000 people had contracted the virus, okay, in this town. The mayor decided to introduce compulsory face masks. That's the action taken, and now that's to be worn out in all public areas. And 10 weeks later, the number of the people who contracted the virus has lowered significantly from 50,000 to 1,200. So which one is an underlying assumption? Well, what caused this change from our passage? They didn't specifically say this, but we know that because of this introduction of compulsory face masks, 10 weeks later, the numbers have dropped. We can't be for sure that this is the only reason the numbers have dropped, but from the evidence given, they are suggesting that. So B is the answer. They're suggesting that face masks helped lower the number of people who contracted the virus. And as always, you can have a read of the solution here if you'd like. Okay, type that out for extra information. Okay, 7, detecting reasoning errors. So let's find the main kind of idea. We know that it's very rare to be struck by lightning and it's very rare to win the lottery, okay? Almost zero. Now this is the main conclusion. Therefore, it can be concluded that it is impossible for any person to win the lottery and get struck by lightning. If you think about this logically, this word is the part that is wrong. Impossible means 0%, never ever possible. However, that is not true. Rare, okay, and so low comparable to 0, these terms do not equal 0. It might be 0.0001%, but it's still not 0. Therefore, it is not impossible. Okay, no matter how rare these two individual situations are, it is not impossible to get both of them occurring. That's the flaw. Okay, so A is the answer. Two rare situations can still occur even if it has an exceptionally low probability. Right, question 8. Anuj is playing a party game where he drops 25 ping pong balls in 6 cups. We want to see what is the chance, what is the least number of balls which can be in each cup if we assume there is a winning cup. For a winning cup to be there, okay, we have to kind of assume the worst case scenario. So obviously if there was like a majority of the balls already in one cup, then they're going to win, okay? But what is the worst possible case? The worst possible case is that they are all going to be even. Okay, all the cups will have even numbers of balls until the very last ball. What that means is you want to divide 25 by 6. Okay, you actually get 4 each. So if I have 4 balls each, what do I get? 6 fours are 24. So you know that one last ball, okay, that you chuck in whichever one, I'm going to choose this one, we'll make it into 5, right? And then this would be the winning cup. So regardless of which cup is the winning cup, okay, it will contain 5 balls in the worst case scenario. So the least number of balls to guarantee that you have a winning cup is 5. Option B. Okay, last question. I know I said I'm going to do 10, but we're kind of running out of time, so 9 for today. Why is the poverty rate increasing in the United States? Okay, so many believe that reason for increasing poverty rate in the 21st century is a mechanism called the poverty trap. Let's highlight the main bits, okay? It makes it more difficult for people to escape poverty due to the lack of access to necessities, such as the ones listed, okay? They contribute to the ever-increasing inequality between the richest and the poor, ultimately forcing more and more families below the poverty threshold, sorry. Lots of hard words in there, okay, but you're not expected to understand what this passage means completely. What you want to do is find a strengthening argument, and as per usual, to do that, you want to find an argument that well links to the highlighted bits, okay? It talks about those highlighted bits and also supports it, not the opposite, not weakens it, okay? So the answer is actually C. All other advanced economies similar to the US. That is important because the question specifically asks for the United States or the US, which have lower inequality, okay? Linking to this inequality concept, also have lower poverty rates. So what's that saying? That's supporting this argument because it's showing the opposite, okay? The argument is saying increasing inequality equals increasing poverty rates. Now C is saying some other places similar to the US, because they have lower inequality, they also have lower poverty rates. So that's why it's a very good strengthening of this argument, okay? Because one side is true, the opposite side also has the opposite effects. So the trend or the kind of general notion is true. Okay, some key points from this test. So the first key point from this test is to do with patterns and nets, okay? For these questions, I want you to try and visualize the information, okay, by drawing up a simple diagram. So remember, diagrams are really helpful in helping you reorganize all of the information that is given in the question, as well as the inferred bits of information in your head. Another key point, so let's just write that down, okay? So this will help you write out and organize the information given, as well as the ones inferred. And the other point I want to talk about is the inferences or assumptions questions, okay? So remember that assumptions and inferences, okay, these can be good or bad, okay? So sometimes questions simply ask for you to determine what the assumption is. You don't need to know if this assumption is good, okay, or suitable, or bad, or not suitable. So remembering those questions about assumption, they just ask you, what is the assumption? They didn't ask you to evaluate or tell them if this assumption is valid or not. So to do this, I want you to track your own thoughts and follow the line of argument. See what you assumed in your own head automatically. Okay, so that actually concludes Thinking Skills 34 for Selective. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please revise any questions as required, and I'll see you next time.